Hi Cancer and Cancer Rising. Here is a general look at your solar chart for April 2015. It's going to be a little bit of a case of what you know and who you know this month, because this will be you pushing forwards with the master plan and trying to achieve those goals and getting organized and being responsible with things, and maybe having to deal more with bureaucracy, some of you, or officials, some of you, but just like the formalities, shall we say. But at the same time, it's got a really progressive, you know, ball rolling forwards kind of energy with it. And it will be very useful to be cultivating the right connections and anything to do with online activity, internet, technology, other kinds of technology. That is also very much a theme this month as well. So networking and making associations, which are maybe fleeting, some of them, but maybe some, or maybe just it only needs to be one, doesn't it? That's really, really useful. So that is the possibility this month. And you also being more aware of image. You being more aware of how you're packaging something and the role, you know, what your status, etc., that kind of thing. There is going to be a total lunar eclipse, and that's happening on the 4th. Last month there was a solar eclipse. This month there's a lunar eclipse. This can be quite significant. It's the third of a set of 4. And this, if you look back to last April, 2014, that was the first of them. And there may be a kind of continuation or a revisiting of an element that was going on at the time last April, okay? But this lunar eclipse indicates change and improvement related to property, geographical location, family ties, community ties, and maybe to do with the past, maybe to do with some kind of legacy to do with the past, sort of like the ancestry, maybe more emphasized at this time. So the idea is for you to take a positive step in the right direction regarding any of these areas in the time before the lunar eclipse, which can be seen across the Americas, I believe, but you can look that up and find that out. So and you know, if you do that in the run-up to the eclipse, then even writing something down of how you'd like things to be panning out over the months to come, then that should start working for you. That should start kind of fermenting, as it were. Also, I have to say that this eclipse could very much be a triggering energy for, and eclipses, for me, they are the energy of allowing us to change. So it's like we can put our foot down on the clutch and change gear. But it depends on what else is going on in the sky at the same time. So I made another video called April 2015 in a nutshell. And I mentioned in that video, now you are a cardinal sign, so this eclipse is going to underpin Sun and Mercury going across Uranus and Pluto. Fleetingly, I have to say, however, because Uranus and Pluto dynamic has been going on for so many years now. I mean, yes, from 2012, but even before then, when they were kind of coming together, applying to each other, then, and this is one of the last times they're going to be together, because it almost like marks the end of that, because Uranus shoots on ahead now from April time, shoots on ahead, and then the gap widens between Uranus and Pluto. Uranus will be herring off into the distance. However, they will continue this kind of dance with each other, because even though they are going to be further apart, causing meltdown and all kinds of upheaval and uproar across the world in lots of ways, and I'm sure if you follow astrology you will have heard a lot about it. But with the cardinal signs, you are the movers and shakers of the zodiac. You are the empire builders. Yes, you need a dash of other things coming in, but basically your sun signs stand for this. You are the entrepreneurs of the zodiac. So in this month, April, watch out for the time between the 5th and the 8th. Okay, because that's when, on the one hand, there could be some nerviness around, and that might not be directly to you, or it might, or some feeling of, you know, will it happen or won't it happen? Now, that kind of feeling of jitteriness. And then also from the middle of the first week and into the very beginning of the second week, this sort of feeling of maybe keeping your cards close to your chest, maybe feeling pressured. And that can be you witnessing it from further afield or it coming to you. And maybe there being a little bit of a poker game going on. So now's the moment for you to maybe, on the one hand, think outside of the box in the earlier part of the week. And then in the later part of the week and into the second week, understand that by letting go of something or by releasing something, then all at once you get this huge wave of energy and confidence coming into you, because it just opens this sort of like open sesame, you know, it just opens the door to the way ahead. But if you kind of planted something that you really don't mind releasing or letting go on, then that would be you playing a really good game of poker. Not that I don't think I've ever played poker, but some kind of game of chance, you know, some kind of gambling kind of thing going on there. But it might not be like that at all. But if my example, if you can sort of use it as a kind of metaphor, or maybe as similar, then you get the idea. But because you might just feel like your arm is being twisted and there's no way out. Well, there is. But if you've maybe been expecting it and done something in advance, so it's to be flexible, to be open-minded, is also to understand that you're not going to get through maybe without actually conceding or compromising in some way to where you want to be later on down the line, okay? So between the 5th and the 8th, all right, keep a steady hand and a cool head. Moving on now, so we have the Sun and we have Mercury, both in this area to do with you making progress to achieve your master plan, your devious, clever plans and plots and schemes, or maybe they're just ordinary, you know, everyday goals that you've just got to manage and get your act together on. Probably be a bit of a mixture. And then there is this energy of Mars, very much meaning that others can be very, very useful, their information or what they can contribute, but also you might get tired out by feeling a lot of demand on you from them. So try to, you know, just keep your boundaries in place there. And then Venus is in quite a supportive mood up until the 12th, and it could be that someone, either an old friend or maybe it's a new association, is being is facilitating you in some way, whether this is in a, you know, at arm's length, or whether this is really, really sort of up close and personal in your life. It's difficult to say, but it will be supportive with your progress and with taking you more into your future, right? So can actually maybe have a slant on it, which maybe you hadn't quite, or you couldn't do yourself, or you hadn't thought of yourself, all right? And then Venus moves into a background area which has you maybe not absolutely certain of your feelings about somebody or something, Or it might not be like that. It might be that you are just taking more time for nurture, putting yourself in the way of beautiful places, gentle places, healing places, maybe following certain healing practices. Perhaps it can be like that, or simply you and someone getting together in a very kind of, you know, out of the public gaze. It can be like that. And whether that's a sort of sizzly connection, or whether that is with a member of the family or friend or whatever it is, but in a little bubble, like in a little bubble, maybe you and just a couple of other people, or teaming up, doing something which is helping in some way, which is helpful, which is providing a service, and that might be from you or to you, okay? And then we have the sun moving into the area of not so much what you know, but who you know. And again, this feeling of the wheels moving forwards, very much moving forwards through your associations, okay? Whether that's through a group or with friends or with just people who are maybe you are liaising with, you're linking with for whatever the reason is. But it is true that when Venus does move on the 12th, that might mean that you have a little bit, you're just going to be a little bit more in demand in a selfless kind of a way, just a tad, not a huge amount. All right. Okay, so then we have Saturn transiting a very service orientated area anyway. And that can mean that you have to get real about what you need to do for health and fitness and well-being. This is a very long transit, came in there in last year, and will be there until June, and then there's a gap, and then comes back in again September time. So you, September, October, so you have to do what needs to be done for anything related to health, your own or somebody else's, but also it is to do with your skill set, what you enjoy doing most, and if you don't have a skill to match a talent or a natural inclination, then you should be training in that at this time. Also keeping a weather eye very much up to speed with maintenance and repairs. You know, this is a stitch in time saves 9 house, so getting out in front of any problems that might be coming up with equipment or whatever it is, you know, the garden, the house, the job, whatever it's about. And you Cancerians born the 23rd to the 26th, or with 2 to 5 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most this forecast period. Jupiter is in the area of your piggy bank up until August. That's good. And you can do quite well if you play your cards right with Jupiter here. You will learn a lot as well with Jupiter there. But one of the ways that Jupiter likes to work is if you put, again, this ego thing, this ego on one side, and say, okay, what do I value most about, I don't know, myself, things that I enjoy doing that I might have a bit of a talent for, or what do I put as the highest priority in my life now? I'm taking the long view, I'm thinking ahead, and then take off in that direction, even if it means you've got to put your hand in your pocket a little bit more initially, because if you do make that, as it were, donation to yourself, then Jupiter will start to deliver. It's not an ego energy, Jupiter, and it's not anything to do with materialism or commercialism, right? It's for more, it has more meaning underpinning it, right? So you Cancerians born the 4th to the 6th, or with the 12 to 14 degrees rising, are going to feel that energy the most. And the other thing about Jupiter is if you get outside of your normal daily box, and you put yourself in a place which is different, which is unfamiliar, which you kind of plunge into or kind of sidle into maybe, then Jupiter is likely to just, again, create or manifest for you something that will give you an opening for things to become a lot better for you materially in the future. Now, Uranus and Pluto are affecting mostly, it's affecting the whole of your sign, but mostly those of you born in the middle 10 days, or with 15 to 18 degrees rising for Uranus and 14 to 16 degrees rising for Pluto. And I will have mentioned Uranus and Pluto in the stars for the year ahead. So if you want to hear about those, you listen to that, or listen to read, you know, you can read it as well. And just watch out between the 5th and the 8th, and just kind of steady as you go there, I would say. And that's it for April. If you know your rising sign, your moon sign, listen to those. But also the basics of this is written up on my website, and you can read that if you want to check any dates. And that's it. I'll see you again the next time.